Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my tower defense game. You know the drill now. I'll be talking about what I have had to change from the original plans, showcase how the game is going, and of course talk about what's to come. So I think for this episode I'm going to just start playing the game and then also talk while the game is kind of playing. So I'm just going to keep playing here and then I will also just kind of talk about some stuff as well. So let's first place some towers and start the wave. So let's first talk about what was originally planned and how it's evolved. So like the first part that we talked about, I've gone with a more traditional tower defense experience. There is one lane that enemies will follow and get to your main base. We also have our player character here. They're not going to be able to fight. From testing, the towers seem more than capable enough to kind of handle all of the enemies. So they do quite well on their own. Any extra damage from the player could potentially be overkill. So the player just has control as the builder to kind of move around and stuff like that. So yeah, the player moves around, collects the gold, builds the towers. That's pretty much their whole thing. So let's go ahead and build a couple more towers here and start the next wave. So other than those two changes, the game hasn't really changed much after that, and I've been full force making this game as fun as possible. So let's talk about its current state. Well, as you've been seeing, the wave system is currently in place, so it'll tell you what wave that you are on, how many enemies are remaining, etc, etc. We can also build 6 towers, and we can also refund them. So when you hover over the tower you want to build, it'll kind of give you a little what's it about kind of thing. What's next? I also noticed that it was kind of hard to know what tile you were building on. So when your player goes over a tile, it will highlight that tile. The player has to collect all the gold and bring it to their base. And I'd say the biggest issue so far has been balancing. I'm going to go ahead and just build a couple more things here, and I will get into that. Now we got 100 gold, let's build some other things just so you can see some other towers. I usually like to place these kind of water towers, the slowing towers, kind of near the entrance. And let's start the next wave. So yeah, like I was saying, the biggest issue so far is balancing. All of the towers kind of deal the same amount of damage. And so with that said, it's kind of hard to know what kind of amount of damage would be good for each tower to do. Especially since I'm letting the player upgrade their tower damage pretty much at a given notice. And you can see these enemies are actually getting pretty far, so it might be time to build a couple more towers just to keep ourselves kind of safe. So yeah, like I was saying, the overall health of the enemies might need to go up just to kind of help with balancing. Also the rate of fire for the towers, maybe those need to be updated or changed, stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of things that I'm going to have to be just looking at on how I can balance this game so that it's not too crazy, both for the player to be too overpowered or for the enemies to be too difficult. So something I was kind of thinking about was going back to the Warcraft 3 days where potentially, the monsters just give you 1 gold or something like that every time they die, and then what you would do is then get more gold every X amount of rounds, and then at the end of every round, maybe there's a completion bonus too. So something like that could actually be pretty useful. just a few more features here on what's going to happen. I can hit tab to kind of go into almost like a first-person view, so if you kind of like to be a little bit more into the fray of things, then that's that kind of option there. You can kind of see these bars, they take up a lot of the screen space, so you can also hide them from the UI. The top one you may or may not want to always have. This kind of tells you all your stuff, but I just thought in case you wanted to see the nice scenery, you can. And I think we're doing pretty good here, so I'll show you the kind of last little updated part that I've done. And then we'll talk about what kind of things are going to be added. So there's player and building upgrades. So whenever you want to, you go into your base and you hit the spacebar. This will open up our building screen here, or upgrade screen, and so you can go ahead and kind of upgrade whatever you want. So let's say I want my player to move a little bit faster, then I can do speed up. Maybe I want to increase my damage or tower range, stuff like that as well. Those are things I can also do. And then whenever you're ready to get out of here, you just simply walk away. So let's go ahead and collect all this gold. You can see I'm moving a little bit faster now since we've upgraded my player speed. So that'll just help with going back and forth collecting the gold. Let's see, we should have like 150 or so. Let's start the next wave. And maybe we'll place another kind of flamethrower tower here. But yeah, so that's more or less the whole gameplay loop. So let's kind of talk about what's left to come. As you can kind of see, the game's kind of looking good already, and it's pretty functional. There's plenty of space on our bottom bar here, so we're probably going to be adding another tower or two. Also, getting a different icon for our destroy tower would also be nice. I'm also going to be adding a unit frame as well, so somewhere near here, probably when you click on any kind of enemy, it'll tell you, its name, a little portrait, and then just how much health it has. Something like that can be pretty nice to see. It's kind of just a quality of life feature thing. And then after that, we're probably going to be adding 2 more maps at least. So this map I find is kind of boring, kind of bland. There's not too much going on. It's just one straight path, pretty much. So I'm going to be creating 2 other maps where they might have different pathways, stuff like that as well. And because the Warcraft 3 game, Winter Mall was my favorite kind of tower defense growing up as a kid, this game is heavily inspired by that. So it's going to also kind of feature a kind of end game boss, if you will. And that boss is going to be kind of like the Duke Winter Mall, where it's going to have an insane amount of health, and if it touches your base, regardless of how many lives you have, it's going to be an instant game over. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be like how our game will finish here. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying the game so far. I'm super excited for its release Friday. As always, if you have any game ideas, don't be shy and comment below. Also make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more free video games made every week in 1 week. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Friday's video.